Yo, what's going on, people? What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the Four Phils, back again with another YouTube video. So we have to talk about 2xKO, you lot. I'm a little bit late on doing this video, but I still want to put this up because it's really important. And I've been talking about 2xKO since the first Alpha Lab, since before that, since we first saw footage of the game. And I still want to keep you guys up to date with what's going on currently with the game. So if you guys are unaware, we've had 2xKO Alpha Lab 2, which is the second time people have been able to play the game online. It wasn't available for everybody. It was available for United States and Brazil. There were some people who had like special handouts or were at events who were able to also get a code that are not from those regions. I was not one of those people, so I was not able to play the game, but I was able to watch and spectate everything that was going on. You guys know, I think 2xKO is the most anticipated fighting game for me. I have really high hopes for it. This second lab test was not as good as the first one at all. There's a lot of things that they changed. Obviously, there's a new character, Jinx, which is cool. I really like Jinx, actually. I think I'm going to main Jinx. But there's a lot of things in the game which they changed, which I think were unnecessary, and a lot of players voiced their opinions. We're going to react to a few videos here, potentially, there's this video here right now. This is from The Score Esports. I don't know if I've reacted to one of their videos before, but we're going to react to this video and see what this is about. The title says, Riot is effing up 2xKO. So by the title, I'm guessing they're going to talk about everything that was wrong with the Alpha Lab 2. We're also going to react to potentially some of the high-level players voicing their opinions on the game. So yeah, we're going to react to all of that, and I'll give my thoughts at the end. Let's get into this.
Pissed off about
right now, we good?
New fighting game. 2xKO isn't
we good now?
Out yet, and people are already getting frustrated with Riot for some pretty classic Riot reasons. Between the characters and the gameplay, feels like people are starting to sour on this new title. Let's get into it.
There we go. How's it now?
Okay, so a few weeks ago, we got a big drop of new information about what the 2xKO team had been cooking up ahead of this past weekend's Alpha Lab playtest. But one piece of news in particular really pissed everybody off. Amidst a flurry of information about system changes, new fuses, and skins, 2xKO's director, Sean Riviera, dropped a pretty big piece of controversial information. 2xKO will only feature 10 characters at launch. So immediately, fans were pretty pissed off about this.
Now, I do want to mention, this is one thing that doesn't bother me. This is something that bothers a lot of people, but me personally, this doesn't bother me. 10 characters at launch for a free-to-play game doesn't bother me at all. They said that they plan to release characters very frequently, so we're not talking what we've been seeing from these fighting game devs currently, where you're getting one character every 8 months. Yeah. That's not what we're talking about. This is Riot. They said they're planning on releasing characters very frequently. So with having that in mind, having 10 characters at launch that's not a deal breaker for me at all. Because by the time the game is, by the time the game's a year old, they'll have a lot of characters in the game. And free to play, by the way, free to play.
It's not hard to see why. 10 characters is really low.
10 characters is kind of low, admittedly, and then you factor in the fact that it's a versus game, a tag game, so you're playing at least 2 characters, and then it just kind of seems extra low.
Like Ruffelmonger said, 2xKO has
me personally, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me too much.
Meaning that even if each character is different across both teams, that's still 40% of the roster in the most diverse possible match, which will likely lead to the game feeling a little small and matchups getting stale. Now, on stream with Sajam, the devs did promise that new characters would be coming, but after launch.
Champion train is going to start once we're out the door and in your guys' hands. We'd rather...
I also want to mention, 2xKO is probably going to end up having more characters than like all the fighting games that are out right now. Like when it's all said and done, the game will probably have more characters in the game than all the other fighting games out right now. There's so many characters in League of Legends. League of Legends, they're probably not at all 100 and however many characters legends there are in League of Legends. But they've got so many to choose from. When it's all said and done, this game is going to be packing with characters on a free-to-play game. I think that's what people don't understand. You can focus on all those characters, but if your actual main game, the game itself is not fun, there's no point having all these characters on a bad game. So if they're focusing on actually making the game good and putting out characters at their own pace, and their own pace being frequently, I don't have an issue with that.
Get it to you and do that instead of just hold it for longer.
But even if Riot turns on the fire hose, it's hard to imagine the roster not feeling small for quite a while. Like right now, it feels like the industry average for adding new characters into a fighting game is somewhere between 4 and 6 characters a year. Even if
I want to mention something real quick. Street Fighter adds 4 characters every year. I think that's pretty low. 4 characters every year. Is it even every year? It's not really every year. It's really every 2 years. Because summer 2024, winter 2025 is really is between 2 years. Like 2 years and you're getting like 4 characters, to me is just it's pretty low, man. That is very low. When 2XKO says that they're going to be releasing characters frequently, I hope it's a lot more frequent than what we're seeing from Street Fighter
adding
6.
new characters into a fighting game is somewhere between
And
4
Tekken
and
too.
6 characters a year. Even if Riot is planning on adding 8 characters to 2XKO in its first year, that still gives us a pretty damn slow year of working our way up to 18 characters, which is probably a number a lot of people would have been satisfied with at launch. On Sajam's stream, the devs also said that characters will have to be unlocked with champion tokens that you earn through play. While they say it's quick to unlock that launch roster, it does call into question how the system will work with the characters added after launch.
You'll have some champs at default, unlocked, and then you'll be able to just play the game and unlock the rest. It's pretty darn quick, to be honest. I have to double check, but I think like if you do the tutorial, you'll get like a champ token, so you'll get.
And you can unlock your characters in game. And you can unlock characters in game. They're not even farming you for your money. You can just unlock them in game with whatever the token thingy is. If you can get in-game currency through playing the game, that's even better. They'll make their money through cosmetics though. That's our arcade fighter. Exactly.
Get to pick one to unlock outside of the unlock default ones right away. We really want you to be able to find a champ or two that you're excited about right away. And then, as you want to try more, you can unlock them and play.
And look, I get it. This game has been in development for a long time. We first heard about it back in 2019, 5 years ago. And you'd have to imagine that it's been in development for longer than that. So it's understandable that a lot of people are frustrated by what's going on. People really just want to play the game, which is likely why the 2XKO team is releasing it like this, but...
Exactly. That's another thing. Would you get, people want to play the game. This game's been hyped up so much, people just want to be able to actually play the game. They could easily say, we're going to delay it another year, 2 years, to make sure the game comes out with 20-something characters. Nobody wants that. The game was playable at multiple evos, multiple events. It's gotten good feedback. It's gotten some constructive bad feedback from recent events. Like, people just want to have hands-on on the game now. All these beta tests are cool, but people want the game out. When you delay it so many times, the hype for it dies down. Like, just get the game. Add characters as the game goes on. We don't need 20 million characters right now. We don't.
Fans were still hoping for more. For some context, Street Fighter V, a game people complained had a small roster at launch, came out with 16 characters. Street Fighter VI launched with 18. Dragon Ball FighterZ, another tag fighter, launched with 24. The last time I remember a game coming out with so few characters was Skullgirls. That launched with 8, but was a small indie game from 13 years ago. That said, it wasn't all doom and gloom. Riot revealed a bunch of other gameplay changes that seemed good.
Yo, Bilal was good. Appreciate that, my guy. Yo, Corey, you said we need 50. 50 at launch, though, is insane.
When we first
It'll probably have 50 in some years or so. At launch is crazy, man.
heard about them. 2 new fuses, Sidekick and Juggernaut, seem designed for players who are less familiar with fighting games. Plus, the new Fury Break comeback mechanic and significantly stronger defensive tools will help blockers, while reduced combo length should stop the endless combos of the first Alpha Lab. Broadly speaking, these feel like good changes. But when people actually got their hands on it in the Alpha Lab this past weekend, it all felt a little messy.
This version of the game has some serious issues
Broski.
that became very apparent after a few days. It has me worried about the direction this game is heading in as well. And that might sound a little bit odd because my earlier playtest of this build I thought was kind of like mixed to slightly positive. Like I felt okay about it when I first tried it. But that was mostly gathered through a short exposure to the game at location tests. Having now played this version through lots of real matches against like good players, I'm pretty concerned about it.
This weekend, 2XKO players got very used to seeing the timeout screen. As Broski pointed out on his Twitch stream, the grand finals of Tampa Never Sleep's 2XKO tournament this weekend went on for nearly an hour and featured plenty of rounds that went to time. And some of
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, obviously I didn't get to play the game. A lot of people were saying that there was too many timeouts happening, that damage got lowered a lot, and damage was a little bit too low. And the way that combo routes was changed as well made like combos less damaging. There's less mix-ups going on because of the wake up tech now, tech roll. You can forward roll, you can back roll. So now your O-key is pretty much dead a lot of the time. You're like guessing on your own O-key, which isn't a good feeling. I think in any fighting game, if you are knocking your opponent down, you should be rewarded with O-key. Like, you shouldn't be guessing whether they're going to wake up behind you, in front of you. Like, that doesn't really make sense. You don't feel rewarded for getting knockdowns like that. So, yeah, I definitely feel people on that. The timer issue, though, I don't know if they're up damage or if they're just up the timer. They'll have to figure that one out.
the ones that didn't had the timer in the single digits at round end.
This is round after round after round of grand finals, which should be like the highest level play that we have access to so far, is just constantly ending in time overs, which is not what you want from a fighting game.
Now, there's a few reasons for this. For one, Riot did shorten combos and lower damage.
Yeah, combos have been
across the
shortened.
board. The first Alpha Lab was full of super long combos, 1 and 2 touch kills, and terrifying set play that often put less experienced players in low agency states very often. But Riot's changes may have gone a bit too far. Between the new wake-up rolls all but eliminating set play, the higher combo scaling and lower damage values making it harder to kill a champion, the increased gray life recovery making it even harder to kill a champion, 2XKO is a defender's paradise right now. And while there are
Yeah, I think with increasing grey health recovery now, and also like your if you're like your assist or one of your characters goes down, you can still use them. You can still use their assist, even if they're dead, if you have one character alive. So I think with that change, and also with grey health coming back quicker, the damage before is probably fine now, to be honest.
are ways to mitigate some of these issues. They aren't perfect. Hard knockdowns exist but are difficult to access for some characters and generally make your combo flow kind of awkward. Snapback exists to deal
I'm also not a fan of the combos getting shortened. The combos were not too long. You could argue that maybe Ari's combo was a little long, but even then, like, Dragon Ball FighterZ has longer combos than that. Like, it's really not that deep.
with recovering characters on the back
It
line.
wasn't
like
anything
only
crazy.
In Juggernaut, one of those new beginner fuses that aren't really strong enough for competitive play. Ironically, while every fighting game fan in the world seems to be complaining about Tekken and Street Fighter being too aggressive and built around 50-50 scenarios, Riot has made 2XKO into a game that says no to every current fighting game trend. And it turns out people aren't into that. Notably, in a clip that went around during the Alpha Lab, Diaphone realized that because his opponent had low burst and how hard it is to actually kill a champion, the best decision was to just not play the game. And his opponent realized it was better to wait it out as well.
I mean, like, I'm literally disincentivized to hit him. There's no point in fighting.
What?
He's the GOAT. He's right. There's no point there.
Look, I'm not a fighting game designer, but I think if you've built a game where the winning move is to just let go of your controller, you've probably done something wrong. There's still a really cool, fun game at the heart of 2XKO, and people are excited for it. It's not all bad. Plus, Riot still has the time to make balance changes and find a sweet spot between the unrelenting aggro of the first Alpha Lab and the molasses defensiveness of the second. But between Riot blowing the balance this bad and the small-ass roster, the past few days have really shaken up a lot of people's confidence in 2XKO. It's taken
I
this
feel
long,
that.
and this is all we're getting. Hopefully the devs can pull it all together before launch. We all want this game to succeed, but right now, we're just a little worried. I also feel like fighting games are unique where people seem to be okay with new characters, whereas like games like Valorant, League, Rainbow Six Siege, they have like the opposite thing where people are like, okay, like there's too many now. Now it's just getting kind of bloated. In fighting games, people are always down because they want to like learn everything about.
All right, I've seen enough. Let me share my thoughts on this real quick. For me, the fix is pretty simple, man. I came up here and said that the 2XKO Alpha Lab 1, the first test, not the recent one people played, the first test. I said that was better than any fighting game that is currently out right now. This is before City of the Wolves came out. I'm not a fan of City of the Wolves, not because it's bad, because the game's not appealing to me. I know people love the game currently, they're having fun, great. I sat there and said 2XKO Alpha Lab 1 was better than every current game fighting game out right now. I was talking about Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, I was talking about MK, I was talking about all the games out, fighters, everything, right? And I still stand by that. There was not a crazy amount of things that were wrong with Alpha Lab 1. I think if they were to revert the patch to Alpha Lab 1, keep Grey Health coming back, don't shorten these combos, don't shorten these combos and the combo routes. What's the third thing? Damage scaling's fine now. They need to revert back to how it was before, because now you're getting your health back. You're getting your health back now. You can manage that better. You've got Jinx in the game now. Oki's a big one. Get rid of tech roll. Forward tech roll, get rid of that. Get rid of tech roll. Let people have Oki. You already have a break, like a burst, right? You got a break, they call it break, right? Yeah. You've got the break mechanic. That is a defensive mechanic that's very good. Blocking works in the game. Blocking works. Blocking is good. You don't just get punished for blocking. You've got retrieving guard. Very good tool. You've got push block. These defensive mechanics alone are good enough for a fighting game. Let the game play out. Let people get the game and let it play out before you start making changes. A lot of the changes in Alpha Lab 2, I think, were unnecessary. Not everyone got their hands on the game. You know, you didn't let the game flourish for a few months to see how it actually ends up playing, how it ends up being before you made all these changes. And yeah, they gotta go back to the first lab test. But just make sure you get rid of tech roll. Tech roll it's not good. Tech roll is not good for the game. That's why people are running away and not actually trying to hit the opponent. They're getting life leads and just running away. Because if they go in, then they have to guess on their wake up whether they're gonna tech roll or they're gonna back roll. And that's not a nice feeling, because if you get a knockdown, you want to be rewarded with your Oki. And when you're not, you don't want to get a knockdown anymore. You just want to play zoney. And that's coming from someone that plays zoners. But it's not fun when that's the only thing you can do, or if that's the most optimal way to play with every character. So yeah, they just need to revert the tech roll change. Let the combos be, don't limit combos, and let Oki be a thing again. And I think the game would be fine. They changed the combo routes for a lot of characters, and I don't think anyone's really enjoying the new combo routes that have to do with their characters. A lot of people who played the Alpha Lab 1 that went over to the Alpha Lab 2, they don't like the fact that a lot of these combos they did before don't exist anymore. And I don't think it's the fact that it's new combos. I think that the new combos they're doing feel subpar. They don't feel as satisfying. They're not as fun to do. So I think a revert needs to happen. I think a revert back to the old patch kind of needs to happen, man. I don't see why they wouldn't do it either. You know, first patch got really good feedback. Second patch feedback was So, you know, if you weigh the options, there's no reason not to go back to the first one and build on that. Wouldn't make sense. So yeah, but yeah, that's my opinion on that, man.